Hey loves! So today we're doing a full face of Dollar Tree makeup. So as always, make sure you grab a snack, get cozy, and let's get into it and do some glam. Let's start off with a lip balm. This one is from the brand Be Pure, which I love. If you ever see this brand at the Dollar Tree, definitely pick it up. It's really good. But this is the hydrating lip serum with hyaluronic acid. And how cute is this packaging? I have a bunch of new stuff here, and then I'll also show you some things that I've tried before that are so good. And this one says it has jojoba oil, cherry extract, hyaluronic acid, and ceramides in it. It does smell like cherry. Ooh, it feels like a very light jelly on the lips. The smell is like cherry. It's nice and hydrating. Definitely feels nice and silky on the lips. It doesn't feel sticky. And now I have these We Well hyaluronic and retinol under eye masks. I love to apply these while I do my eyeshadow just to hydrate and depuff in the meantime. And you actually get 5 pairs in here for $1.25. So I bought 3 eyeshadow palettes, and we're gonna do a little mauve tone look today with a pop of purple. These are sliding off. We have to really just try not to make any sudden facial expressions so that I don't have them sliding all the way down my face. I'm gonna start off with this 12 color eyeshadow palette from LA Colors. This is a very popular brand at Dollar Tree that I love. And then to prime my lids, I'm gonna use this clarifying blemish concealer from Be Pure. I used this in my last Dollar Tree video and I actually do really like it, so I'm going to use this to prep for eyeshadow. And I'm using this cute mirror from the Dollar Tree as well. So this is the palette of the day. This one is in Vogue and it has really pretty light mauve tones. So let's start off with this color right here first. Love LA Colors. Very similar kind of like to LA Girl in a way, but at the Dollar Tree. You can also sometimes find LA Colors at Five Below. But they have nice buildable pigment. Like this is a really cute shade. Then I'm going to add in some of that. It's pretty much very similar to the color we just applied, but it's a little bit more mauve, and I'm going to add that into my crease as well. By the way, if you hear any noise, it's so windy outside, so there might be some branches or something falling, so if you hear anything, that's what it is. Then let's go in with this dark brown. It's like a nice cool toned brown. And I'm really gonna just tap that on the lid with a fluffy brush. I also picked up this 6 color eyeshadow palette, also from LA Colors. I've tried these palettes before, but I haven't tried this color. I wanna keep it just very like mauve-y, pinky, purpley today, and this one is in Playful. Let's add a little bit of this color right here. It's almost like a deep brown, but it has a purple kind of undertone. So let's add that to this. Ooh, I like that color. That's cute. Brings out a little bit more of this purpley touch, which is exactly what I wanted. Then I'm going to mix these 2 colors right here all over the lid. Love this color. It's not super pigmented, but again, it is buildable. If you wanted to, you could even spray your brush. I actually didn't today. For once. I feel like the color does show up, especially when you mix the colors too. And then let's go back into the In Vogue palette. I'm going to take this shade very lightly. It has a bit of a shimmer finish, and I'm going to just tap that over top of this just for a light little shimmery touch. See, with your finger too, these pick up nicely. Let's do a little shadow wing. I'm gonna go back into the In Vogue palette and take the black shade. And I'm gonna use this little angled brush. I got this in a 3-pack actually from the Dollar Tree. I've had this in my collection for forever. If you ever see these little tiny brushes, they have good detail brushes, which I think are always good for specific eyeshadow looks. And like I said, I've had this for a few years and it's still in great condition. So I like to just do my little shadow wing. I might go over this with liquid liner because I did actually purchase a liquid liner. But I love an eyeshadow wing because it's so smoky and a little bit softer. Also much easier to do because you could be a little bit more sloppy. Doesn't have to be perfect. You could just clean it up. It's a little bit more of an off black, so it's not really vibrant. I might go over it actually with some liquid liner, but I'm gonna just clean it up right underneath. And then I did pick up a pair of lashes. These are LA Colors Faux Mink in the style Devout. Just applied the lashes. I trimmed the outer corner a little bit, which is a tip that I have for you. Don't trim the inner corner of your false lashes. Do the outer corner, because I used to do the inner corner and it messes up the lash and then it doesn't stick right. So outer corner, but I actually do like these. I have a little lifting right in the inner corner because that's just kind of how it is sometimes with these lashes, but I still really like them. They're very fluffy. By the way, the lip balm is still on my lips. It still feels nice and hydrating. The under eye patches have officially stopped sliding off, which is good. I think I finally got them to stick. So I'm gonna go over this shadow wing with some liquid liner. The black eyeshadow from this palette is very off faded black and I want it to pop a bit more. So I'm gonna use this Marie Claire Precision liquid liner in jet black. I've actually never seen this brand at the Dollar Tree before, Marie Claire. The brush is very small and precise, but it's really black. Look at the difference. Look at this versus that. We're gonna see how this does last throughout the day. The liner, hopefully it doesn't smudge or smear, but I love how black this is. The brush tip is actually really easy to work with as well. It kind of reminds me of the old Wet n Wild Mega Liner a little bit because it has a very thin brush. The only thing is I don't think it's matte. Like, it has a bit of a shiny finish. So let's remove these. Now for the rest of the skin, I'm gonna prep with the Be Pure Hydrating Primer Serum. This is pretty much just that. If you're familiar with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer Serum, it's kind of similar to that a little bit. This is from my last Dollar Tree video and I still keep it because I really do love this brand. So it comes with a little applicator. Oh, there's a little eyelash on my face. I'm trying to get it off, but so it's a very runny serum, but it does give the skin some nice moisture. And it has a light rose scent. It is also pretty fast absorbing. Another primer that I've tried is the Blurring Face Primer from Be Pure. If you wanted to do a little primer duo before your foundation, you could, because this is going to be more for filling in your pores and just smoothing out your skin a little bit. So I'm going to do that right in this area. I also do like the way that this applies to the skin. Also, the fact that everything is pink, we are so on theme with all of the products. I love this color. This is my favorite color. It just makes me so happy. Like, it's comforting, the color. So skin is nice and prepped. Now let's move into bronzer drops. I found these today actually, also from Be Pure. I had to pick them up and see how they're gonna apply with the foundation that I'm gonna do today. Let's apply it to the skin just to see what it does. I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand first. Very bronzy. Let's just blend it in on this side and see. Oh my gosh, that is so pigmented. This could even be a liquid bronzer for me because it's very, very bronzy. Change of plans. I'm not going to apply that directly to my skin. I'm going to mix it in with my foundation instead, just to give it a more seamless bronzy application. And I will reprime this part of my face because that's a little bit too bronzy for me. I mean, I know that's kind of the point because it's a bronzer drop. Another Be Pure product I love is the Essentially Ageless Hydrating Foundation. This is one of the best foundations at the Dollar Tree. So it's a little bit too tan for me at the moment. So I'm going to do a little mixing here. And I bought this liquid makeup from LA Colors in True Beige. I'm going to do a pump of this. Oh no, is this going to work? We have to make it work. Maybe the bronzing drops weren't a good idea. They're definitely bronze, like hello. I'm gonna just add a little bit more of that creamy beige foundation in there. The bronzer though is pretty. The bronzer drops, they do give a really nice glow. I know it doesn't look perfect, but we are going to make it work. I'm just gonna drag it down a little bit to my neck. Apply it to your ears if it doesn't match. We can always balance everything out with some concealer as well. There is a little bit of oxidizing with the liquid makeup too from LA Colors, so that's the only thing. It feels like a lotion as you're applying it. Do you guys remember the movie Sleepover? When Yancy put on too much suntan lotion and they were like, Yancy, you're orange. That's how I feel right now, because she used too much Presto Tan. Please tell me at least one person knows what I'm talking about. But that's literally how I feel right now. I feel like Yancy after she used too much Presto Tan. So we're gonna go back in with the Be Pure Blemish Concealer. And I'm gonna be pretty generous with this just because I want to lighten up this foundation. We're gonna go back to the old days with this concealer. This is a lot, but I actually do like this concealer. It's super creamy. Wait, I got a new concealer brush. Good thing I remembered. Sassy and Chic Angled Concealer Brush. Let's try this out right now. It's actually a really good size. It kind of reminds me of an EcoTools makeup brush. Let's blend. So it's not really dense. It has a little bit more fluffiness to it, but it's actually doing the job. I wish it was a little bit more dense, but you can still make it work, which is nice. You can definitely blend on your under eyes. The shape does make it easy to blend, but you can see the product, it just flattens out the brush quite a bit. So that's why I said I wish there was a little bit more density to it, but it still works. I'm gonna switch brushes just because I want to blend this out a little bit better. I really like, if you want an affordable concealer brush, the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer brush. It's $5. It's a little bit bigger, but it does fit nicely into the under eye area and it has a good amount of density. So this is one of my favorites. I feel like the concealer definitely helped. The foundation has oxidized even with that lighter color, so that's why it looks, you know, extra bronzy. Something else I really appreciate about these bronzing drops, I applied a generous amount, by the way, when I mixed it in with the two foundations, but it looks so bronzy and glowy without any glitter or shimmer. Like, the glow is actually really pretty. New blush wands here from LA Colors. This is this shimmer finish in Atomic. I love that. Isn't that pretty? And again, there's no glitter with this formula, which I appreciate, but you get a really pretty dew to the skin. You could also apply this right on your hand, just squeeze a little bit out if you don't want to apply it directly to your skin. And you get a bit more of a controlled amount of pigment. You see it's a bit more subtle, but then you could just build it up as needed. Ooh, either way though, I love it. I think it blends beautifully into the skin. This is one of my favorite products that I tried today. Wow. I also like how it doesn't dry too quick. Like, it gives you a good amount of time to blend it. I mean, even on the back of my hand, look at that finish. This is just like Charlotte Tilbury for $1.25. I mean, you do get less product because these are pretty tiny. I know so many brands have products like this, but this actually has a beautiful blend, and I think I prefer it on the back of my hand and then onto my cheek, just because you get a bit of a softer flush. But if you apply it directly on your skin, you are still going to be able to blend it really beautifully because, again, it doesn't dry too fast. I also wanted to shout out another gorgeous liquid blush. This one is the Ioni liquid blush in soft pink. Beautiful pigment and also just a beautiful color. This comes, I believe I've seen it in 2 other shades, but the soft pink is my personal favorite. It's the most perfect soft pink too. It doesn't pull too bright. It's not too light. It's really pretty. It's a very hydrating blush formula as well, so I feel like it just has a good blend to it. So that is another really pretty option. I feel like Ioni also has a lot of gems. Now we're gonna set the entire face. I got this pressed powder foundation, another new brand, Giove USA. This one is in natural. You get a little sponge applicator and then the powder in there. Oh, it feels nice and soft. I'm gonna use this to set my entire face. And I'm gonna start with my under eyes. I'm using a Real Technique setting brush. At least the color is good. I'm actually very pleased. I'm gonna use a flat top brush like this. This one is from Eco Tools. And I'm gonna just press in the rest of the powder foundation to my skin, just to absorb any shine and really lock everything in. I don't really see a lot of added coverage, but I do like that it absorbed all the shine and oil that I had on my skin and it looks really smooth. Two more brushes here from Sassy and Chic. This is a powder brush, but you see with that shape, it is going to be perfect, I think, for either highlighter or bronzer. But I'm going to do a little bronzer on my forehead, and I have this clarifying press powder. It says for acne prone skin from Be Pure, but I'm going to use this as a bronzer. This one's in the shade Fair. I saw two other colors there that were much darker, had a bit more of like an orangey undertone, so that's why I went with this one, because I feel like I can bronze my skin. This brush is nice, it's soft. I like this one more than the concealer brush, I think. But I think with the concealer brush, you know what? I feel like for if you want to just do a little bit of bronzer right down the sides of your nose, it works really well for that. I think it's going to work a little bit better for powders versus liquids. I mean, it works, but it's not my favorite concealer brush, but I think it's still a nice brush for other things. And then this is the last new brush that I got. This is a blush brush, which we're going to try with blushes that we have here. I got powder blushes. Oh wow, the shape of this is like my BK Beauty brush. This is the blush brush that I was using earlier to apply the creams. BK Beauty, Dollar Tree. Look at that fan shape. The bristles are going to be different though, so I feel like this one might be, again, more ideal for powders versus creams or liquids, but I love the shape of this brush. I picked up this LA Colors Tropical Bloom blush. This one is in a bloom. I've tried another color of these blushes. They are so pretty, very pigmented. This is like a peachy pink. Ooh, I like this brush. It really stamps in your powder blush. Oh, this one has a bit of a glow to it. Cute. I love that. The blushes are a winner. Like, let me tell you. This is another blush that I picked up. I've definitely tried this before, but I couldn't find it. This is the powder blush from LA Colors in Sweet Cheeks. If you like that cool toned blue based pink blush, you're gonna love this one. Now this is really pigmented, so it's something like this. If you want to just add a little bit, you can take a very fluffy brush. This one is from Laura Lee Los Angeles, the L35, and you can kind of just lightly dust that onto your cheeks and get some of that pigment without overdoing it, because these are really pigmented. I mean, you can see that just made the blush almost look a little bit more neon, but this is gorgeous. This blush cocktail is beautiful. I know they're all different, but I'm loving all the tones. I know it's a lot of blush, but the brush that we used really packed it on. Out of all three brushes that I used, this one is the most dense. So the bristles are really, you know, jammed packed. So when you're applying your products, it's going to pick up a good amount of that blush and it's going to really give you a lot of pigment. So if you prefer something a little bit less vibrant on your cheeks, use a fluffy brush like this instead of something more dense, because something like this is going to give you a more lighter blush application. And this one is the ColourPop F21. Now let's do a little pop of purple on the lower lashes. Let's keep the color going. I got this other eyeshadow palette from LA Colors in Chic, and this one has more purpley tones, which I want to apply on the lower lash line, because I also got this new eyeliner. It's technically it's a shadow stick from LA Colors in Fashionista. So this was kind of my inspo to get this palette so that we could do a little purple moment. I'm going to take a little bit of this purple and a little bit of this purple. We're just going to mix purples. Let's just mix all of them, honestly. I'm gonna do the light color. Let's do this color. No, let's do this one actually. It's like a light lavender. I'm gonna pop that in the inner corner. Ooh, I like. Now let's try the shadow stick in Fashionista. Okay, she's light, but she's cute. Even all over the lid, this would be really pretty. And it does have a creamy formula. I like it because it's a subtle purple, so it gives it a light pop. This is actually so creamy. I'm just kind of running it also on my lower lashes to amplify that purple, and I really like this. It's a subtle purple, but it does give some nice pigment when you build it up. And then I actually got a purple mascara. This one is also from LA Colors, and it's in tropical purple. So purple was the theme. This is actually so creamy. I'm just kind of running it also on my lower lashes to amplify that purple, and I really like this. It's a subtle purple, but it does give some nice pigment when you build it up. It doesn't really show up. I thought it was going to be a little bit more vibrant. No. So the mascara unfortunately is a dud. It doesn't really show up on my lashes, but to be completely honest with you, a lot of mascaras, pretty much everyone that I've tried from the Dollar Tree, is a dud for me. It just doesn't do anything to my lashes. So I would recommend something from the drugstore versus this. Now for lips, let's go in with this little duo from LA Colors. So cute. You get the lip liner and the gloss, which is really hard to come by at the Dollar Tree because at least all the Dollar Trees that are by me, they don't really have lip liners. So in the past, I would always use an eyebrow pencil as a lip liner. Oh, it's so cute and little. Oh, it's very orangey. So I wiped off the lip liner. It was really creamy actually, and it had a good amount of pigment for it being so tiny, but it's very orange. And I don't really like that color with this look, or just like on my skin tone. It's a little bit too orangey for me. So we're gonna resort to a brow pencil. This is the LA Colors brow pencil, and this one is in the shade medium. And you can see it has a much more cool toned. This is much better. I prefer something a little bit more cool toned. The lip liner wasn't bad, it's just the color that I don't like, but the brow pencil saved the day. I'm gonna try out that gloss. So the gloss I think is gonna be pretty much clear. Yeah. It smells like bubblegum. I got this lipstick. It's the Master Strokes Longwear Satin Lipstick from Clean Color. They also had quite a bit of shades, like bolder colors, but I love this light baby pink. Oh my gosh, the smell. It smells like something from my childhood. These scents are so nostalgic. It's very light. It doesn't have a lot of pigment. I'm just gonna keep going over until I get it as pink as I like. Smell, it's like a grape smell, so I think that's why it reminds me of my childhood so much. See, when you build it up, you get more of that color. I love the color. It's like a nice, very cool toned baby pink. So this is the color. So you kind of have to build it up a little bit, but when you do, you actually get a good amount of pink. I could just do this all day. I love the way it smells. It feels so smooth and it has a nice satin finish. The only other thing that I did is just set my makeup, and I used the La Mercerie Matte Finish Setting Spray. My camera stopped recording as I was applying this. I have tried this before. I feel like it does a nice job at marinating your products and giving you a nice hydrated, less powdery look to the skin. As you can see, it's not a very matte setting spray, but it does feel nice. It doesn't have any fragrance to it. So if you want something just to kind of marinate your products, it works. But for matte makeup, probably recommend something at the drugstore versus this. But I'm gonna just do a little bit more just to show you too. The spray on this is really nice. It goes on really even. I feel like if anything, this gives more of a hydrated, a little bit more dewy look to the skin. So the makeup is complete, and I have to say I do like this look. The only thing is, unfortunately, the complexion is much darker than the rest of my body, and it oxidized, and that could be a combination of different things. So first, the LA Colors liquid makeup that we used, this definitely does oxidize to like this orangey shade. So I think this, mixing it with the Be Pure foundation probably wasn't the best idea, because I'm thinking this is gonna lighten up the Be Pure foundation, and although I do feel like it helped, it's still oxidized, so I feel like it made it look even more kind of orangey on my skin. That's the only thing with Dollar Tree products. You have to just be careful with that, because sometimes you might have a good shade match, but then it'll kind of just turn a little bit darker and orangey throughout the day or as the makeup settles. That's the only thing. I really do like the Be Pure concealer though. I thought this was gonna save the day, and I do think it helped, but I also feel like maybe the bronzing drops of course made everything much more bronzy, but the powder that I used I think also contributed to the oxidation, this one right here. But besides the color, the actual formula is nice. It has good coverage. I think it's sitting nice on the skin. I mean, it's really pretty. Not perfect, but it's not bad. With the under eye masks, I feel like these do what they say. They are hydrating, but they are going to be sliding off your face, which is kind of annoying. However, I can't really complain because 5 pairs for $1.25. You know, it gets the job done if you're on a crunch, but I do have other favorite under eye patches, but they weren't bad. The hydrating lip serum was also pretty nice. It's not very thick. I would say it's a little bit more of a thinner consistency, but it does give you more instant hydration rather than lasting hydration. Like by the time I got to my lip products, my lips didn't feel overly hydrated, but I feel like for the time being, it did help. The eyeshadow palettes, I thought these were really cute. Like I said, if you're a beginner and you want some buildable eyeshadows, you could definitely make it work with these. They're not going to be extremely pigmented, but they're buildable, they're beginner friendly. The mascara was a dud. This was just a complete dud. Unfortunately, I thought it was going to be very vibrant and purple, but it wasn't. Dollar Tree mascaras are usually a miss for me, unfortunately. This bronzer also kind of orangey. Out of all of the products that I've tried today, my favorites are definitely the blushes. The powder blushes are absolutely gorgeous from LA Colors. These are a 10 out of 10. A Bloom, and then this one is in Sweet Cheeks. I love these colors. I love the Ione liquid blush. I told you guys this is a really good product if you're at the Dollar Tree. And then the LA Colors Beauty Wand Shimmer Blush, stunning, blendable. I love that glow that it gives. It also has a good amount of pigment, so this is a winner. I also do like this little lip product. I think this is a really pretty shade that you could top in the center of different lip combos with darker lip liners or anything really. If you're into pink, this is so cute. I don't really feel it being super long lasting. Like already from me applying it to now, it's been maybe like 30-45 minutes, and I do feel like it kind of faded. I'm gonna eat and everything now, so we'll see if it does last, but I do like this color. This is something that I would keep in my purse and just add to the center of my lip combos if I want to do something really light pink. Oh, I also loved this LA Colors shadow stick. This is gorgeous. I love this on the lower lashes because it gives a little subtle pop of purple. Also love this blush brush. Like, hello, the shape of this is perfect. I think this is going to be really good for powder blushes or glowy blushes. It really packs it on, so it gives you a lot of pigment on your cheek, but it is very soft, and out of all 3 brushes, this one is my favorite, and it feels like really good quality for $1.25. I'm highly impressed. Speaking of beauty tools, I also picked up these Ione tweezers that honestly remind me so much of Tweezerman tweezers. They have this little rubber detail, which is nice for gripping with your fingers, but they look like Tweezerman tweezers. I have my Tweezermans right here, and you cannot tell me these do not look identical. And the Ione tweezers actually feel nice, like they have some weight to them, so this is a good find. Another really good find is the tinted lip oil from Ione. This is beautiful, hydrating, really big doe foot. It smells pretty good. It kind of smells like artificial, but it's still really cute. Honestly, I kind of want to put a little bit over top just to show you. It makes your lips super juicy. So nice. So this is a really pretty one. I actually bought another color. I didn't use it today, but this is the Plumberry. They come in a couple different shades, but they're really nice. Also the Marie Claire liquid liner. I do like it. I just wish the dry down was more matte because it has a bit of a shiny finish, which I personally don't like with liquid liner. So that's the only thing, but you know, it gets the job done. It is super black, and it does have a nice little felt tip. So it's not bad. It's not my favorite, but it works. So I'm going to come back in a few hours and I'll show you guys what everything looks like. So here is the makeup after a little over 6 hours of wear. I did also do my hour walk on the treadmill, so I was sweating. So you're going to see here I do have some fading and separation around my forehead and my cheek area. So although I do think you can find better complexion products at the drugstore, I still think you can make these work if you can find a good shade. You just got to be careful with the oxidation and using certain products as bronzer, because I feel like the bronzer made me a little extra orange, but I love that the blush is still in place. So out of everything that I tried, go with the blushes. They are going to be a winner. I'm also really impressed with the fact that the eyeliner and lashes stayed in place, and the eyeshadow as well. So I feel like those are winners. And even though I didn't love the finish of the eyeliner, it's still doable. The Be Pure foundation is nice. It's not going to be the most long wearing product, but it gets the job done if you can find your shade. I would skip out on this liquid makeup though, because it will oxidize. Same with this powder. I think there's better options at the Dollar Tree. But overall, if you're on a crunch and you got to make some of these products work, I totally think you can. It's all about just taking your time and using the right tools. So I hope you guys enjoy enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye!